3,000 years ago, the people of ancient Egypt believed something that should stop you cold. They believed that death was not the end of your story. It was the middle of it. The most dangerous chapter you would ever face was the one that began the moment your heart stopped beating. And they wrote down, in careful detail, exactly what was waiting for you on the other side. This is that map. This is what the ancient Egyptians believed happens to you when you die. It begins in darkness. Your body lies still, wrapped and silent in its tomb. But you are awake. You open your eyes in a place with no sun, no moon, no stars. This is the Duat, the underworld, a vast and shadowed country that no living person has ever seen. And you are utterly alone in it. The Egyptians did not imagine death as a soft sleep. They imagined it as a journey through hostile territory, a road you would have to walk, with your soul itself as the prize. But you are not entirely without help. Long before you died, your family laid spells beside your body, written on papyrus and painted on the walls of your tomb. We call that collection the Book of the Dead, but its real name is more honest. It translates as the Book of Coming Forth by Day. It is a survival guide for the dead, a set of words and secret names meant to carry you safely through everything that is about to try to stop you. And many things are about to try to stop you. The road through the Duat is not empty. It is guarded. You come to towering gates of fire, each one watched by a demon with a knife, and each demon demands that you speak its secret name before it will let you pass. You face lakes of fire and rivers you cannot cross. You meet serpents the size of temples coiled across the path, waiting in the dark. The greatest of them is a monster of pure chaos, an enormous snake that tries every night to swallow the sun itself. To go forward, you must know the words. One wrong answer, one forgotten name, and you simply end. Not punished, erased. To the Egyptians, that was the true horror of death. Not pain, but the total annihilation of the soul, as if you had never existed at all. But if you are clever and prepared and your spells hold, you survive the road. And at the end of it, a guide is waiting for you. He has the body of a man and the black head of a jackal, and his eyes are calm and ancient. This is Anubis, the god of mummification, the keeper of the dead. He does not threaten you. He takes you gently by the hand, and he leads you forward into the place that every soul in Egypt both longed for and feared. He leads you into the Hall of Two Truths. The hall is immense, stretching away into shadow on every side. And it is not empty. Lining the walls, seated and silent, are 42 judges, each one a god, each one responsible for a single sin. And at the far end of the hall, on a great throne, sits the Lord of the Dead himself. His skin is green, the color of new life rising out of the black soil. He was murdered once by his own brother, and he came back to rule the kingdom of the dead forever. This is Osiris, and he is going to judge you. But Osiris does not ask you what you did. He does not need to, because in the center of that great hall stands a set of golden scales. And the Egyptians believed that everything you ever were, every cruelty and every kindness, every lie and every act of love, all of it was recorded in one single place. Not your mind, your heart. To the Egyptians, the heart was the seat of the soul, the record of the whole person. And so, before Osiris, before the 42 judges, your heart is going to be weighed. Anubis steps forward. He reaches into your chest, and he lifts out your heart, and he places it gently on one side of the golden scales. And on the other side, it is the feather of the goddess Mart, the goddess of truth, justice, and the cosmic order that holds the whole universe together. The test is brutal in its simplicity. Your heart against a feather, and your entire eternity depends on the balance. You stand and you watch the scales, and so does someone else. Crouched beside them, waiting, is a creature unlike anything in the world of the living. It has the head of a crocodile, the front of a lion, and the back of a hippopotamus. the three animals the Egyptians feared the most, fused into one. Her name is Ammit. The Egyptians called her the Devourer of the Dead, and she is staring at your heart, and she is hungry. Here is what hangs on the scales. If your heart is heavy, weighed down with cruelty and lies and the wrong you did in life, then it sinks below the feather. And the moment it does, Ammit lunges. She seizes your heart in her crocodile jaws, and she swallows it whole. And that is the end. Not a fiery hell, not eternal torture. Something the Egyptians considered far worse. You die the second death. Your soul itself is destroyed. It is devoured. It is erased forever, as if you had never lived at all. But if your heart is light, if it balances perfectly against the feather of truth, then everything changes. Off to the side, a god has been watching and writing the entire time. He has the head of an ibis, a long curved beak bent over a scribe's palette, and he records the verdict of the scales with perfect, unblinking accuracy. This is Thoth, the god of wisdom and writing, the keeper of the divine record. And if your heart is light, Thoth turns to the throne, and he announces the verdict to Osiris. This one is justified. This soul may pass. But even then, you are not finished. Because the Egyptians believed you could not simply be judged, you had to speak for yourself. And so, standing before the 42 judges, you make what is called the negative confession. One by one, you face each god, and you declare the wrong you did not do. I have not stolen, I have not killed, I have not lied, I have not lied, I have not caused anyone to weep, I have not taken milk from the mouths of children. 42 declarations, one for each judge, each one a wrong. You swear your heart is clean of. And the scales have already told the gods whether you are telling the truth. And if you pass, if your heart is light and your confession holds, and Thoth writes your name among the justified, then the Lord of the Dead rises from his throne. And Osiris welcomes you into his kingdom. You are led out of that hall of judgment, out of the dark and the danger, into a place of impossible light. The Egyptians called it the Field of Reeds. It is the most beautiful thing they could imagine, and what they imagined tells you everything about who they were. It is not a palace of gold. It is not a city in the clouds. It is a perfect version of Egypt itself. Endless green fields beside a gentle river, wheat growing taller than a man, the people you loved waiting for you, your home, your work, your family, all of it restored and made perfect and made to last forever. To the ancient Egyptians, paradise was not escaping the world. It was the world, kept exactly as it was on its very best day and never allowed to end. That was the promise. That was the prize at the end of the dark road, a life that does not stop. And that is why they spent everything they had preparing for it. The tombs, the spells, the mummies wrapped with such impossible care, the treasure sealed in the dark. None of it was about death. All of it was about the journey through death and the hope of the green fields waiting on the other side. And here is the part that should stay with you. Strip away the jackal-headed gods and the golden scales and the monster waiting beside them, and look at what the test actually was. They did not weigh your wealth. They did not weigh your power, or your monuments, or how many people had feared you in life. They weighed your heart against the weight of a feather. They believed that in the end, the only thing that decided your eternity was whether you had lived a life light enough, honest enough, and kind enough to balance against the truth. 3,000 years later, in the dark, that is still a heavy question to carry. If your heart were placed on the scales tonight, against a single feather, which way do you think it would tip? This is Pantheon X, where we tell the oldest stories the world ever dared to tell. Subscribe and stay close to the fire.